Welcome once again to another installment of Cheesy Dan Reviews. On the plate today, we've got Stranger Things Hawkins cheese pizza.
Don't you think that's strange?
Of course, this is a playoff of a pizza that's made famous by the Netflix original series of the liking, Stranger Things. Now, even if you're not a huge fan of the series, you have to admit that it's been quite a phenomenon.
And they're cool and available and addictive.
And seeing them come out with their own frozen pizza made me think, yeah, I gotta at least give it a try and see is it worth it. Who knows, this could just be a marketing ploy and it's really not all that great. I don't know, I've got kind of big hopes for it. When you look at the description, it says that it contains mozzarella, provolone, parmesan, romano cheese, and marinara. So, I mean, it's got all the makings of what should be a good pizza. So the only thing we've got left to do is we got to cook it up, cut it up, eat it up, and then we can get its Cheesy Dan score and see, is the Stranger Things Hawking High cheese pizza worth your dough? Let's find out. To determine if this cheese is worth your dough, we're going to judge it based on its appearance, its day one taste, its value. Take a slice and stick it in the fridge, come back on day 3 for the reheat. We'll take all 4 scores, add them together, divide them by 4, and then we'll know the cheesy score. Let's get it out of the box and let's see what she looks like. Well, not too bad looking. I'm going to wait to give it its appearance score until after it's cooked, but good coverage from what I can see right now. Let's go ahead and let's put it here on the pizza peel. And right before we get it cooking, I do want to talk about the value aspect of it. So this one, with a price of just under $7, like $6.89 or so, it does come in as, not actually a very expensive way to get a meal, but when you compare it to similar options, like for instance, you can get a Red Baron 4 cheese for like $4.33. This one does come in about $2.50 more than a similar comparable competitor's pizza. So keep in mind, you are paying a little bit of a premium for the fact that it's tied to the Stranger Things system.
They'll rob you blind if you ain't watching.
But at the same time, it's also made by a well-known made pizza brand. This is actually produced by a company called Palmero, which if you're not familiar with them, they do make some pizzas in their own name, but a lot of them, they have other names, like for instance, Urban Pizza, or maybe one you've heard better, Screamin' Sicilian. So I would expect that this one's gonna taste good, but we won't know until we cook it. But for a value score, simply because you're paying a $2.50 premium, and the average pizza like this should be close to about maybe $5, I'm gonna give this one, I'm gonna give it a 4. The reason I say that is, again, you are paying a premium for the name attached to it, but it's not a crazy premium. It's probably about $1.50 more than it should be. But we're gonna go ahead and cook it up, and then we're gonna cut it up so we can get our appearance score. All right, now that it's fully cooked up, let's go ahead and put it on the pizza stone and let's give it its appearance score. Now, this pizza actually said on the instructions to cook it between 19 and 21 minutes.
That's too long.
As you can see, it was starting to overcook a bit over here, and this pizza had only been cooking for about 16 minutes. So keep an eye on it, and I probably wouldn't cook it according to their guidelines.
Are they crazy or what?
But as far as appearance goes, this is supposed to be a hand-tossed style pizza, and you can see that the crust is a little bit thicker than normal, which is a good look. Don't really grate it here because that's just a little bit of overcooking. Just keep in mind that. There are a few spots where you can see where they did not have full cheese coverage. Still pretty good. Overall, appetizing looking pizza. It does smell good. I would say for a day one appearance score, I'm going to put this one at a 6, simply because it doesn't have full cheese coverage, and unfortunately, even if you did follow their instructions, you're definitely going to overcook it. So let's go ahead and cut it and let's pick a slice. Alright, so what slice should we pick this time? I think if you're familiar with the channel, you know I'm going to go for something that's got a little bit better of a white cheese to it. So, yeah, I think cameraman's right on this one. I was thinking this one originally, but I'm going to go with this slice right here. So let's get it separated. Whoops. Now we just got to let it cool off and go ahead and give it its day one taste score. Well, now that it's cooled off some, take a little bit better of a look at it here. Now, it does have a pretty good brown bottom on it, and you can see again the thickness of the crust here. It did fluff up a little bit, and they describe that as a hand toss style. But you can definitely see some of the Romano and the different features of the cheese here. But let's give it that taste. Now this one has a crunchy bottom to it, and of course I guess that could affect based on how you cook it, but it did come with a little bit of a crunchier bottom to it. You do have a little thickness of bread to it. In fact, you can kind of get a little visual of that here. It's a little bit thicker on bread than I originally thought it was. I just kind of figured the crust was a little more fluffy, but apparently it's got more crust to it, I guess, than what it originally looks like. The cheeses do taste good. The tomato sauce is a light sweet taste. I guess the best way I put it, it's not as bold of a flavor profile as I would expect. I've had some other cheese pizzas with the provolone, the Romano, mozzarella, and they've just been a little bit more bold in their flavor profile than this one. So overall, it's really not a bad pizza at all. It's not just a pizza based on a gimmick, I guess. But at the same time, it's really not super impressive. I would say as far as the taste goes, it is slightly above the average, but not by much. It's overall just kind of average. I would put this one at a day one taste score of 5.5. Not a bad pizza. I'm not saying it to knock it. It's just not exceptional.
You don't impress me any longer.
Overall, let's go ahead and put a slice in the fridge, come back on day 3, and let's see how it holds up for the day 3 taste test.
3 days later.
All right, here we are on day 3. Let's see how it came out of the fridge. If you look at it here, pretty good look. Nothing really wrong with it. You know, crust is a little spongy, but that's normal after being in the fridge for a couple days. But what's left to do? Let's heat it up. Give you one more look before I take my first bite. You can see the bottom browned a little bit extra after reheating it, but overall, really good look. I will say as well, the smell was actually quite good. When it was reheating, it kind of filled the kitchen up with the smell again and kind of made you really hungry in anticipation of eating it.
Well, something sure smells good.
In any case, let's give it that taste. After taking that bite, unfortunately, the series of it being a little bit bland seems to have continued.
Why is it so bland?
It's kind of off considering the fact that the smell and the aromas in the house after cooking it smells so good. It kind of, it makes you expect that there's going to be a big flavor profile behind it. But unfortunately, just like it did on day 1, day 3 is letting me down even more. After taking the bite, really the only thing I'm tasting at all is really just the cheese, or the pizza sauce, should I say. It's not bad, but it's not a strong profile even then. And really the cheese, I don't taste it at all. It's like it's not even there. Unfortunately, when it comes to the Stranger Things Hawkins high cheese pizza, I do think it's more gimmick than something that's worth going to get.
What a ripoff!
I'm gonna put this one at a day 3 taste score of 4.5. And with a 4.5, that's gonna finish out this pizza with a cheesy score of a 5. Being a 5, that's pretty low on our scale. In fact, that puts this at number 18 on all of the pizzas that we've reviewed so far. The only pizzas below it are going to be the Domino's stuffed crust cheese, which we know got there because of it was being way overpriced, and also the Pizza Hut stuffed crust, just because it was kind of terrible in every imaginable way. So unfortunately, this one does come pretty low on the cheesy Dan score. I would say for this pizza, you'd be better off getting a different one that we've already reviewed that you could save a little bit and have a little bit more bold flavor with it. Not terrible pizza, just really not worth the money.
No, well, that's a shame.
So maybe you've tried this pizza. Maybe you're such a fan of Stranger Things, you bid on the hook and you tried it too. Tell me what you think. Hey, maybe you've had a better experience with it, but for me, kind of a little bland, unfortunately. I guess that leaves us with nothing left to say, but until we eat again, stay cheesy.